Hello, everybody, and welcome to Okay, So Hear Me Out. I'm your host, Aubrey Massey.
And I'm Hannah LaFleur.
Okay, So Hear Me Out is an imagination exploratorium in which Hannah and I typically grab a guest and a topic, and then we make the world a better place by using our creative abilities to improve said topic. But today, there's no guest. We decided to do something a little bit different for this podcast. So normally when we choose a topic, we let our guests do that, and it's something that they're passionate about, so we can keep those creative juices flowing because they have a lot of things to offer. But all of those things, because people are already passionate about them, are already inherently positive, or at the worst, they're neutral. So we decided that for this episode with just us, what we're going to do is we're going to find the worst things ever and then make them better with creativity. So I have looked through the interwebs to finally find a good listicle of the worst things ever. And I found one on thetop10s.com / worst things ever.
Aubrey, clarify this for me. So these things were voted upon by random people. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I was telling you about. The internet did it.
Was it like it wasn't a drop-down list though, right? It was just like a blank and then you just entered them? That's what I feel like this.
Shit, I don't know. I didn't take the quiz.
I feel like since it's such a long list and some of these things are so random, it has to be something like that.
Yeah, hey, quit looking at my computer about this. You're not allowed to know what's on this list because it's so good. Yeah, there's 50 things, but it's technically the top 10 is what it starts with. So we're going to start with the top 10. I'm pretty sure, this was all voted upon by people. So that means it's scientifically accurate 100%. These are, according to the human consciousness on the internet, the top 10 worst things ever. So, Hannah, are you ready to improve the number
ready.
10 worst thing that has ever happened in ever existence of human existenceness?
Bring it on. I can solve anything.
All right.
Make anything better.
Number 10 is terrorism.
All right, let's make terrorism better. So are we improving terrorism and how well they do their thing?
No.
Oh, okay, because that would have been fun. All right, so we're ending terrorism. Are we we're figuring out how to
We're making the world a better place by fixing terrorism.
All right, fixing terrorism.
Yeah, we're fixing terrorism.
So we want to make terrorism a good thing. All right, so hear me out. A lady. Let's fix that first of all. Stereotype. Let's say it's a white lady runs into a crowded office building. She has this big overcoat on, and then from her overcoat, she pulls out water guns, and she says, "Who wants to have a water gun fight?" Did I just fix terrorism? Is that good? Okay, so Hear me out. Lady takes out of her coat a bunch of Pez dispensers, and she's like, "Hey, anyone have some more Pez? Because I really want to shoot some of these Pez's up into my mouth."
Okay, that's an interesting way to say that you're going to eat Pez.
I shoot my Pez into my mouth.
That you have Pez dispensers, but no Pez. So so what you're going for is more like you're keeping the terror part of it, but you're changing the death and destruction into like pranks. You
said fix terrorism, make terrorism better. So you did not say stop terrorism. You said make terrorism better.
Okay, so instead of real guns, we're using water guns, and instead of real bombs, they're confetti.
Yeah.
Bombs.
So I guess instead of terrorism, it's more like
prankism.
Funism. Okay. Prankism, funism, happyism.
Yeah, can we take away the power of terrorism by making it benign?
Sparkleism.
No. The problem is we wouldn't actually take away its power. We would give it more power, I think, overall.
How do you make terrorism look at itself and say, you know what, I should change?
You fight it with loverism.
Yep. Yeah. So.
You put out fire with water. You don't fight fire with fire. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You fight fire with water. So if terrorism's the fire, the destructive fire, then you have to be the love calming water. So you start. We're gonna start this. It's called. Is it gonna be called Loverism or is it just Loveism?
I like Loverism because
Loverism.
it's more funny.
Welcome to the inauguration of a new movement called Loverism, where you do everything the exact opposite of terrorism.
You see
Well,
a
not
terrorist.
everything.
You see a terrorist. Go give him a hug. Give him a lollipop. Say, "Hey, you're looking good today."
But it doesn't have to be a terrorist. You just give random folks lollipops and hugs against their will.
Wait a second. How about this? You assume who's a terrorist based on their creepy behavior.
Assume everybody's a terrorist and give them hugs and loves and kisses.
Lollipops.
And call them your lover. And that's part of Loverism.
Say, "Hey, will you be my lover?"
You have to whisper sensually into their ear, "I love you."
Okay, wait. I think this is actually starting to be sexual harassment.
You're right.
Let's back up 2 steps. Don't call them lovers and don't whisper sensual things into their ears.
You're right.
Maybe you should ask them if they want a hug.
Politely request, "Hey, I'm just trying to spread love in this world. You are an excellent human being. Do you want a hug? I would love a hug. I would love one from you because you're a lovely person and you look like you might need a hug. So hug?" And then
Yes.
they'll say yes because you just explained it real good. And that means now you're one hug closer to stopping terrorism.
All right, cool. What's number 9 on the list?
That's it? Just
Yep.
Loverism?
Loverism.
Love your
beat
neighbor.
Terrorism.
And love everybody. Love everybody.
Yeah, I thought
All
you were
right.
about to say a parable or something. But
Speaking of loving figures in this universe, number 9 is the devil / Satan / Lucifer.
good. I love his slash names. All right, so we are making Satan himself. We are improving Satan.
I'm not going to lie, as a non-religious person who used to identify as a Christian, Satan's got all the gays in his land, which is pretty cool of him to do. It's very progressive. So I think that's already a really cool thing. I think he's up there on this list.
Honestly,
Yeah, the
you can tell
torture
who-
and the fires of hell aren't quite as cool, but he's really accepting. He'll take anybody down there.
he has, according to most Christian religions, he's got most of the coolest people. He's got a whole bunch of, he has a whole bunch of rock and roll stars. He has pirates.
Imagine the amount of drugs that Satan has down there that he's accumulated.
And booty.
And booty.
Booty. Both versions.
Satan got back.
Yeah, they have the best music in hell. I mean, they talk about, like, music in heaven, like trumpets, angels playing trumpets and horns and stuff.
Trumpets are garbage.
Yeah, as a trumpet player, I can confirm trumpets are garbage. In hell, they've got...
Rock
they've
and
got
roll.
good old rock and roll.
So we put on a music festival
And
in hell.
the
Satan
jazz.
becomes cooler.
The jazz is in hell. Just FYI for people who don't realize this, jazz used to be the devil's music. That's what it was called. And it used to be JASS because it was so looked down upon. And then it became
Yeah, it
jazz.
was like J-ass.
Yeah, it's like jackass, but abbreviated. I don't really know.
That's not the real thing. I think what we're getting to is that Satan doesn't actually need to be improved all that much.
I think we need to improve our perception of Satan.
Maybe instead of, if the whole fire, torture for eternity thing is real, then maybe we change it like we should prisons and make it more reformative rather than just punishment, because that's only going to breed more anger and hate from the folks in hell. And they've done a lot of cool things. Some of them have done really, really terrible things. But a lot of them have done some pretty good things.
Yeah, honestly, like, there should be, like, an actual hell where, like, there's Hitler and Hitler's best friend.
Don't get me wrong. There's some reformity that may not be the best. And we can get there. And don't worry, Hannah. Those people are on the list. We're going to get there.
So, okay, if we're improving our perception of Satan, all we need to give him is some good headshots. Hell needs, like, a GED program. And
a cool slogan.
A cool slogan.
We've
coffee
got the
store.
gays.
Coffee shops. A yoga studio.
Let's set him up a Twitter account.
Satan needs a Twitter.
A real one, not the guy who pretends to be Satan on Twitter.
Yeah, we need official Satan.
What do you think the slogan for hell should be? Or slogan for Satan, right? This isn't hell, this is Satan.
Okay.
What should Satan say to get people to want to go to hell?
Satan.
I think maybe it's just Satan. Hell yeah. I think that's his thing.
But wouldn't it be funny if it was heck yeah?
That would be pretty good too. It just depends on the location. Are you ready for number 8?
I'm ready for number 8.
Okay. Number 8. AIDS.
This one is rough because it's where Satan to me was kind of funny. AIDS is an actual ongoing tragedy. And what would make it better is more AIDS funding. Scientists are doing what they can do to, like, help find a cure. My mom is actually one of those people. And, it's just, there's no vaccine. And it's hard to get supplies. This is sad. I don't know how to make AIDS better. I guess it would be better if it wasn't.
If it didn't exist.
If it didn't exist. Yeah.
Or was at least smaller.
If only a few people had AIDS, it wouldn't be so bad.
I'm trying to think of a...
If it didn't take the best people, too.
I'm on
like,
slogans.
Rip all the best people who died from AIDS.
Albert Einstein.
What?
Died of AIDS.
Did he really?
No.
You made that shit up. Okay.
Abraham Lincoln died of AIDS. Everybody thinks it was a shot to the head. That's not true. It was AIDS.
Jesus died of AIDS.
Jesus died of AIDS. He did really get crucified. It was the AIDS that killed him. The
crucifixion was a metaphor. Crucifixion was a metaphor
for AIDS.
For AIDS. That's how AIDS was interpreted.
I think maybe we can start another campaign slogan for AIDS. Let's see. Get laids, but watch out for AIDS.
I like that.
We don't want to be sex negative. We want to be sex positive on this show.
Yeah. So have the sex. Just watch out for the thing. Okay, I have a thing. AIDS would be better if it had, like, a color to it. Like, if you could see it. I feel the same way about pesticides. Like, when I'm washing my bell pepper, I wish I could see the pesticides washing off of them. Because I don't always buy organic because I don't have a lot of money. So there's that. But
you want our immune system to have a color?
I changed my mind about this immediately because then you could see someone who has AIDS and it would be awful. That's terrible.
That'd be very embarrassing.
I take everything back.
Mm-hmm.
Love, if you know someone with AIDS,
love them.
Say, hey, might.
AIDS is a lot like terrorism. It's very scary. And it does a lot of harm, and people who have been victims of it need some love and some care.
Okay, so answer to how to make AIDS better. Well, we're trying. There we go. Number 7.
Number 7 is school.
All right, so
terrorism
on
and AIDS.
this list, we know that there are some privileged people taking this quiz and during this data. That they put AIDS as being less worse than getting an education. So there's one problem in it of itself. Maybe AIDS wouldn't be as bad if people didn't.
Yeah, I'd rather go to hell than to school.
Yeah, I'd rather get AIDS than get an education.
Here's my issue. We're both educators, and we could probably talk for hours on end about how to improve schools, and it's actually a topic that we've tried to avoid in order to just...
That's serious.
We've tried to avoid
actual
it.
ideas. Yeah, we have actual ideas about school. How about this? I'll throw out some bullshit ideas real quick. How to make schools better. Like 4 days a week. How about that? Some district in Colorado is doing that. Apparently, I saw that.
They do have the year-round system where you go to school almost all year, but you only go 4 days a week.
Gotcha. All right, how to make it better? No teachers.
There's a really cool school in Massachusetts in which there are no teachers, but they are instead mentors that work with, it's a 20 to 1 student to teacher ratio, and there's it's called the Sudbury Institute. I'm not going to explain the whole thing. This is the problem why we can't talk about schools. I know too much.
Another thing, no rules.
Once again, I'm not doing this. I can't
I'm just trying to make him angry.
Let's go to number 6.
Okay, number 6.
Adolf Hitler.
All right, so at least Hitler was worse than schools on this list. I think we can agree on that. Okay, to make Hitler better. Now, are we trying to make him more ridiculous? Are we trying to actually make him a better person? How are we going about this?
Well, there are a lot. Well, I think the first thing to make Hitler a better person is make him not have killed all the Jews.
How about this?
We're not trying to do some revisionist history bullshit.
No, this is what should have happened. Back when Hitler was an artist, someone should have said, "Hey, you're really good at this. You should take this and just go with it."
Maybe
I know you think
lose the paintings about the dead Jews.
Oh, those existed?
I have no idea.
I thought it was just like flowers. Well, it's like, hey,
it was symbolism for Judaism.
So like, I know Adolf. I know that you think you need to make money and change the world, and the only way you can do that is through politics. But artists have the most power to change people's lives every day. This is an excellent tree you've painted. You should go paint more of those. We're going to pay for your art education.
Hitler needed love.
And
money to go to art school.
More paints.
Maybe something...
The irony that he was vegetarian also. Can I just throw that out there?
Yeah. We can't really talk so much about Hitler in the way that we can't improve him, because then that's saying that we can make him... I don't know. It's important that history knows the terrible, terrible things that people have done. And it's also equally important to know that sometimes those terrible people did a lot of good, so that we understand our own humanistic nature, and how that means that no matter how bad we are, we can still do good, and no matter how good we are, we can still do bad. There are no monsters. There are just men. That's a very serious thing for me to say, but it's very true. So in order to make the world better through Hitler, I think that we need to have an education system in which we talk about all the terrible things that Hitler did, but also talk about all of the good he did, because he did do some good. He just also killed a lot of people that did not deserve to die for the reasons that they died for.
And I think it's a tricky line, because you don't want to say like, he wasn't that bad. He did this. It's like, no. He was absolutely incredibly awful, and we all have the capability to be a mass murderer.
Yeah. And I mean, it goes vice versa.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Jr. did wonders for African Americans in America, and consequently all over the world. But he cheated on his wife a lot. Gandhi, who is a symbol of peace within human history, refused Western medicine for his wife when she got syphilis, I think, some kind of STD, and it killed her. But then when he started having symptoms of the same STD, he took that medicine. It was misogynistic as fuck. But through his hunger strikes, he did so much good for the people around him. But he was also a terrible person at the same time. And I know that is not good for me to go on to the internet and say that Gandhi was not really that great of a guy, because he did a lot of good. And same thing with Martin Luther King Jr. That was not cool of him. But they did good, and they also did a lot of bad. So that's my real life opinion about
what
things
you're
like this.
what you're trying to say in conclusion.
I think what I'm trying to say is that in order for us to learn from past mistakes, which is the importance of remembering these people, we have to look at them from both sides and realize that they were human just like us. And if we can see that kind of human qualities in these people, no matter how good or no matter how bad, then we are better off on knowing that we can either be great or we could be.
And it's not what you are, it's just like the choices you're constantly making. So I'm never in my entire life just a good person. I am day to day making series of decisions that are either good or bad. Just like all those people who we kind of lump them into good people and bad people, but it's just decisions.
It's just people that make decisions. And sometimes they're shit decisions and sometimes they're good decisions. Anyways, I think we're getting the point across even though we can't actually turn it into one word.
Yeah.
Or one sentence. Let's move on to number 5.
Anyway, still fuck Adolf Hitler.
Okay, number 5 is murder.
All right.
Here's my thoughts on this, on improving murder. Because clearly improving murder is to make it not kill people, though that is the definition. So instead of killing with guns and knives and strangulation and things like that, we kill people with kindness and compliments.
Okay.
It's just like the terrorism thing.
Well, I have another take on that. Instead of murdering being taking life away, murdering is actually making babies. So, and every time someone tries to murder someone, the universe just plops a baby into their arms and makes them a parent. Okay, I take this back. This is an awful idea, and also logistically, I don't know how it would occur. It was magic, and it didn't make sense. And now that I'm thinking about it, people who have murdering tendencies should not be given a baby.
And they also tend to kill babies, too.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. There's a lot of child death on Earth.
Yeah, okay, so... is there a different way we can make murder better than doing the same thing we did with terrorism or making them babies? Hey, how about this? We instead of calling it murder, which is so, more is that Latin root right there, murder. It's called something stupid like lop job.
Yeah, nobody wants... Well...
Poop plop. Something just super
nobody
cute.
wants to be a poop plopper.
Right. Murder sounds like so powerful,
Murderer.
Or like...
I'm a poop plopper.
Jiggle wiggle.
Yeah, imagine being in jail and somebody going, "What are you in for?" And you're like, "I'm a jiggle wiggler." Oh, shit, you jiggle wiggled somebody? I did.
Yeah, or just blooped. I'm a blooper. Bloop.
That's
I'm
okay.
a blooper. The blooper is the actual word.
The act still stands. I think changing the act is really what makes the world a better place.
All right, let's go to number 4.
All right, number 4. Here's my favorite one. Hitting number 4 within the top 10 worst things ever is none other than Justin Bieber. Hey, can I read you some... All of these come with the comments that when people vote, and then some of them have wrote a comment underneath all of them. And so, of course, it's exactly what you think. Like Murder, it says, "I think this is unforgivable," and silly things like that. Here's a good one. "Yes, this kid is annoying. He deserves to be on this list. Just go on his website, youtube.com, and you'll see what I mean.
His website.
That place is crawling with Justin Bieber haters and lovers. Not only that, but everybody talks about him. It's really annoying. Just look at his views on YouTube. He has like 700
billion, but it says million.
700 million views on his song, quote, Baby. All lowercase.
So the people who took this think that Justin Bieber is worse than murder, AIDS, Satan, terrorism, all of that stuff based on his annoyingness. What this says about the human condition, I think, is just incredible. Okay, so how are we going to make Justin Bieber better?
I'll tell you what. I think if we delete all of his really, really old stuff when he was a child that made him famous, and we just keep some of his newer stuff, which he's put out some real bangers
maybe
in the
just
past.
Give him a second chance.
Yeah.
But like really, like I'm not trying to. I have never been a Justin Bieber fan. And I
Yeah.
think it's because immediately from the very beginning, he was annoying. And he had his huge fan base, which was full of annoying fans, usually like tween age girls. So it just like as soon as he existed, it was kind of like bad vibes. But maybe you just delete all of that, everything. And you just like, hey, here's this new up-and-coming artist named Justin Bieber. And you don't know any of the things he said about Anne Frank. You don't know any of the other, like, shit things he said or done and, like, how bratty he is. We just start over and make sure he doesn't have bangs.
So you know how... I don't know if you know this, but Garth Brooks, very famous country artist, decided that he wanted to go into a little bit of a different genre. And so he created an alter ego of himself called Chris Gaines. Do you know about that?
No.
Okay. So
also funny name.
Same. Yes. So Garth Brooks decided to go by Chris Gaines for a different kind of thing. If Justin Bieber did that, what would his name be?
So wait, well let's what genre is he going into? Can it be something just completely different, like
he's going into polka.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say like it's Italian opera, yeah, polka.
Justin
mariachi.
Bieber's starting a polk band, but he needs an alter ego. What is his name? Dansmith.
Dan. It's not. When you said Dan Smith, I heard it as Dance Myth.
His name is Dansmith. That's his whole first name. Dansmith. Last name is
Puccini.
Dansmith Puccini. The new Polkamaster. Polkamaster.
Dansmith Puccini. That just rolls off the tongue. Just say it. The more you say it, the better it gets.
Polkamaster Dansmith Puccini.
Polkamaster Dansmith Puccini. Okay, it's actually real hard, but
it's good.
Polkamaster Dansmith Puccini.
Puccini. I think that's how you fix Justin Bieber is we give him his alter ego, put him in a polka band, and call him Dansmith Puccini.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Number 3 on the list is cancer.
All right, so like AIDS, this is a tough subject. It's a toughie.
I hate cancers.
I mean,
they're the worst astrological sign that you can have.
Yeah,
if you're born a Cancer, we
Cancer.
have to fix you. So cancers tend to be neurotic. Here's the best thing you can do with cancer. What you do is you go out to the beach and you have a cancer broil where you collect all the cancers and you get a really big pot that can fit them in there and boil some water, put them in there, then you can crack open their shells and eat them. Cancer boils.
The cancers I know personally, most of them don't come with shells. Are we giving them shells?
They all have a shell around their heart.
Oh, that's what makes them a
giant crab. You have to get in there with a little tiny fork and break it open and poke at them to get to the fleshy bits.
I think what annoys me most about cancers is that they're not my favorite crustacean. As far as crustaceans go, I like shrimp and like pasta. I am from South Louisiana, so I do have to say something about crawfish, but if I'm being honest, I'm not like the biggest crawfish fan. But
she prefers gator.
No, that's not a crustacean, but I appreciate it. My favorite kind of crab are fiddler crabs, which in the coast
they're always on the roofs of people's houses.
Fiddler crabs on the roofs.
Fiddler crabs
they're
on
called
the roofs.
They're called tululus.
That does not
South
fit
Louisiana.
into a musical.
Tululus. Yeah, it's.
So is
right.
It two Lulus? So
Yeah,
it's written out Lulu Lulu?
No, it's TOULOULOU. Tululus.
That's fucking dumb.
Yeah, but that's because fiddler crab, I guess, is hard to say. Which is ironic, because Tululu is really hard to say.
Okay.
All right, so we fixed cancer, right?
So we fixed cancer.
Wait, did we fix cancer by boiling them?
Yes. Number 2. Death.
Here we go.
Number 2, death is the second worst thing that can happen ever.
I do have to agree that I as far as things go in my life, death seems like one of the worst things that could happen to my life. Especially if it's, I'm having fun. Sometimes I welcome death.
We kind of spruced up hell there for a little bit, so I don't know if death is the worst.
What I wish about death is that we just knew what was happening afterwards. If I knew I was gonna become a seagull after I die, I think I'd have something to look forward to. Like, oh, damn, this class is so boring.
I can have as many French fries as I can find if I'm a seagull.
Yeah, it's like, this class is so boring. I can't wait till, 80 years from now when I can just die and go be a seagull. Where am I going to go? I think I'd like to be a seagull off the coast of Italy. What about you?
Oh, are you actually asking me where I'd like to be a seagull?
Yeah, where would you like to be a seagull?
I'd rather be an ocean gull, personally.
I mean, that's what I was...
But a seagull works, I guess.
I see what you're saying. That was kind of a funny joke.
Yeah, it was stupid, but
all right,
thanks.
What are some other ways we can make
fix
death better?
Make it not happen? Put us all on robot bodies?
Yeah, or how about when people die, they just say, "Hey, by the way, I'm cool. They've got French fries here. They're salty and nothing's gonna mess up my body. I can eat a ton of them."
The worst part about death is the fact that zombies come from death and skeletons and other
all the
creepy creatures.
Grubs.
So I think what we need to do is every once in a while get all of the dead bodies that we can find, put them on a spaceship, and send it to a different planet. Or just the sun, straight into the sun. Just like mass cremation.
Yeah,
it causes so much disease too. You know that, right?
Yeah, there might be. I
feel
like there might be some other. So like eventually though, would those dead bodies end up in our orbit, and you look up into the sky and just see a whole bunch of naked dead bodies?
we all started as space dust, as stardust. Let's just make more stardust. Let's send it towards the star in our solar system, and
no
more. And then it's a nice cycle.
That's a romantic idea. I do like that. I think another thing that would help death, perception-wise at least, is if we associated not with black and skulls and worms and decay, but like the light blue. How about that? Light
fungi.
Blue. Those cute mushrooms that fairies sit on.
Toadstools.
Right, toadstools. And I don't know, unicorns or freshly baked cookies.
Yeah, instead of the Greek, what is it, Chiron? Carrion? That guy who puts you in the gondola and then takes you to the underworld with Hades and whatnot. Can we just have unicorns take us from the realm of life to death?
And they're like dope. They're like
narwhals.
Yeah, they're like, hey, hop aboard my cool little paddle boat. Would you like some peanuts? Hey, what music do you like? Oh, I love indie rock. Alternative.
I fucking love Polkamaster, Dansmith, Puccini. You are on point with your music choices, sir.
And then they're like, "Oh, you're going to hell? No problem, dude. It's way better than it seems."
Used to be.
Yeah, they have a lot more gay people since we started, actually coming out of the closet during our lifetimes. And who else? Oh, and pirates. You like pirates? We've got pirates in hell too.
Every pirate in existence.
And I know Satan gets a bad rap, but he's pretty dope. Especially because he has such an inclusive home here for everyone.
Look at this poster. It's got his face, and it just says "Hell yeah" at the bottom. That's the experience you're about to have. I think we fixed death.
We fixed death.
All right, number 1 on the list. War.
All right, how to make war better.
All right, so every time, the Cold War. This is the best example of a war, in my opinion, because there was not a lot of death. World War II, lots of death. World War I, lots of death. Civil War, lots of death. Every other, I'm not going to list off all of the wars, but wars equal death. But the Cold War was called the Cold War due to the fact there wasn't actual fighting. There's a lot of espionage and things like that. But one of the greatest things that came out of the Cold War was the space race, where America and Russia were like, hey, who can get to the moon first? Though it wasn't a direct challenge, right? It was just kind of to one-up each other and things like that. But what it did was cause human advancement. We became the only creature from Earth to ever put themselves on the moon. So if instead of doing wars, when you have a problem with another person, if we could just challenge another country to do some crazy feat first, I bet you I can teleport before you can, and we'll see who's superior in that way.
Yeah, it's like games.
Yeah, like games.
Games.
Like games.
Games. Instead of war, it's just really intense football. Football isn't soccer. That's kind of...
You're asking for the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, what if the Olympics...
Was how we settled debates.
Yeah. Right, so whoever has the best athletes gets to win. Okay, that's not actually good. But I like the idea of using games or duels of sorts without actually killing each other. Because war is awful. But, like, there's conflict in the world. And sometimes you have to resolve conflict. So it's just, we do it in a very suck dick kind of way.
Right. If we make it the challenges, right?
Yeah.
Who can get to the moon first? Who can have a settlement on Mars first? Who can cure this disease first? And yada yada yada. Then because wars tend to have more than one power, well, more than two powers, right? They're opposite sides. But within on one side, there are generally multiple countries involved. And if instead of only pulling together in order to defeat the other side by killing each other, if instead it was, let's pool our resources and figure out the trick to faster than light speed, then think of all the amazing things we could do. If we pulled together to find out who could fix the atmosphere that we've destroyed so far, then war would be a just good thing.
Right now, so like in our current context, China would be like, bow down, bitches, we saved the pandas. And we'd all be like...
Well, we're gonna fucking save the rhinos. Yo, Africa, let me get in on this. It's time to save the rhinos.
And then Florida's like, save the manatees.
And we're like, fuck the manatees. The rhinos are more important.
No, but then Han is like, but I like manatees. Why are we fucking
And people are like, Hannah, you're one person. We're countries.
I'm like, okay, can't we save the rhinos and the manatees?
And then Donald Trump's in the back like, save the white people. And we're like, dude,
and then we're all like, no, they're new and fine generally.
But the elephants, they're having a hard time over there.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I really
but
like
the polar bears.
Yeah. Give them ice. Coca-Cola. If you're going to have advertisement in the future.
Yeah, how about you fucking do something, Coca-Cola?
Please save the polar bears.
I'm putting the gauntlet down. I'm going to start a war with Coca-Cola. You know what, Coca-Cola? I bet you can't save the polar bears before I do. I bet you can't. I bet you can't. And you know who's going to help me? Dr. Pepper. Suck on that. Maybe I even get Pepsi in on this shit.
When you said Dr. Pepper, it sounded like an actual person to me. I don't know if that's what you're going for, but it made it beautiful. Dr.
Hank R. Pepper.
Yeah.
That's his name. That's the guy who owns Dr. Pepper. Dr. Hank R. Pepper.
I'm not like a trivia master, okay? I'm just a pleb, but... Sure, I'll believe you there. You could have just made up that name.
You play in the space with me, Hannah. That's number one. So I think we fixed it. We fixed the world.
So everything we said is going to work, right?
Yes.
If there's anyone important listening to this...
Hey, you want to hear some of the honorable mentions on this list? Because they're real good.
While he's pulling that up, we just need to make sure some of our listeners are forwarding this podcast to the people in charge of the world.
Right.
All those big names, you know, and such.
Right.
Okay, so
you ready? All right, so remember, let's just recap the top 10 real fast. Number 10 was terrorism. 9 was the devil. 8 was AIDS. 7 was school. 6 was Adolf Hitler. 5 was murder. 4 was Justin Bieber. 3 was cancer. 2 was death. And 1 was war. So let's find some of the things that Justin Bieber and school beat. Like number 13, racism.
This is sad. Again, privilege was voting on these.
Number 16, poverty. Number 18, being buried alive. I just like how a specific form of death was somewhere on the list. Number 22, rape. So there are a lot of... I want to know that rape was behind...
School.
9/11. Well, 9/11 was pretty damn bad. Bullies. Bullies are worse than rapists, apparently. All right, let's go. Number 25 was heartbreak.
Oh.
That's a pretty good one. Number 28 was climate change. I'm glad to see where our priorities are at. Number 31 was mosquitoes. I just like how they were on there.
Mosquitoes is slightly less bad than climate change, which, this is a wake-up call for people, because as the earth gets warmer, there will be more mosquitoes. So let me just throw that fact out there.
Number 32 was the end of everything, which I think is a great...
I mean, it's like,
way to look at things.
Yeah, that is bad.
I think my favorite, once again with the quote, somebody wrote, "That will happen when Kanye gets elected president." So, that's great. Number 35, MySpace. Number 36, Caillou. Caillou's on the list. That little motherfucker, Caillou. Yeah. I know nothing about Caillou.
Let's throw back to 2014 when everyone was throwing around Caillou memes suddenly, and it was like, oh my gosh, I remember that.
42 is Tumblr, which I'm inclined to actually kind of agree with a little bit.
I don't mind Tumblr when I get to browse just foods.
Are you ready for this throwback? Number 46, the Naked Brothers Band.
Yeah, this came out while probably we were our early years of high school, I feel like. Pornography is on there.
That's number 48. But 49 is 11-year-olds with Minecraft profile pictures, usernames, and terrible grammar.
Very specific.
Hey, let's start a campaign to get this up to number 1.
Sounds good. Whoever can do it first wins. Wins the war.
Wins. Oh my god, I can load more. Number 53, the Ku Klux Klan!
Wow. Well, I agree it's bad, but I think it should be
Here we go.
higher than
I find number 56 should definitely have been number 1. Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks. We've got some anime.
I think we're done, but this is really good.
Yeah.
Dabbing is number 68. When 69 is Big Brother, and I thought that it was the George Orwell 1984 Big Brother. No, but they're talking about the game show franchise created by John DeMol from the Netherlands. Not that. Anyways, so that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for listening to the 11th episode of Okay, So Hear Me Out. We really appreciate the fact that you guys are still listening to the show and telling other people about the show, because our download numbers have been going up, which means that you've been spreading the word. And that's how we get the show out there. We really love doing this. We've gotten a lot of comments in which people tell us that listening to us talk and using our creative brains has helped them become more creative in their own lives. And that, I don't know, that's a compliment that I don't think that I could ever be more thankful for. It's crazy.
What more could a woman or man want?
It's insane that, I don't know, we just thank you so much. So if you could continue to tell people about this show and ask them to listen, if you think that it's their thing, then please continue doing that. We want to thank some people specifically this week, because we got some iTunes reviews. So yeah, we want to thank some people like Dizzy2389, who gave us 5 stars and just said, "Fun listen because of the concept. Quality is solid too." And thank you so much for taking the time to do that, Dizzy2389. We appreciate it. And Loverism, nice
name.
Also told us that they think it's hilarious and that we had a great chemistry and that it sounded like we were just good friends. And that's very true. We're dating, so I hope that we like each other.
I hope we have good chemistry and geometry
and physics.
Mm-hmm.
And sex ed
and physical education.
Yes, thank you so much, Loverism. We really do appreciate that. We would love it if you guys could send us an email letting us know anything that you want us to improve within the world with our quote-unquote creative minds inside of this imagination exploratorium. So if you would like to do that, you can email us at oshmocast@gmail.com. That's oshmocast@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter, which is @OKSoHearMeOut. Or you can go to positivethoughts.com/contact. That's PODSITIVE thoughts.com/contact. And we have a form there for you to do that if you feel more comfortable with that. All right, so here's the newest thing we're going to do. We've never done this before, so we hope it works. we're going to each pitch an idea that we have thought of in the last week in order to just generally improve the world. So...
And these are just random, right?
They're
just
fucking random. They have nothing to do with
exactly
the topic. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So my idea is that we create popsicles that don't melt until human saliva has touched it. So that way you don't get the drippy, gross stuff on your hands when you have popsicles. And it's just saliva.
You can just like lick that whenever you want, right?
Yes. What's your idea?
So when we're babies, we could like see through our mom's womb like we're in a frog's egg. Is that good?
That's pretty good.
Okay, good.
Wait, hold on. Does that mean that there's like a window on the tummy?
Yeah. It's just generally kind of see through. It also doesn't stop people from touching random.
That's gross as fuck.
Pregnant ladies' tummies. I know, it'd be beautiful. You just see like a weird like little fetus in there, like growing arms.
Okay, thank you so much for listening, everybody. We will talk to you next week.
Bye.